Hi everyone, welcome to another Qlik video. I asked a few questions about Qlik to both Google Bard and ChatGPT. In each case, Bard is shown first and then ChatGPT is second. This is just a bit of fun and my comments are not all that serious. So my first question was, tell me about Qliktech, and Google seems to have really read the Qlik marketing material. This seems a fairly lightweight synthesis of the available materials. The info about Thoma Bravo is good and gives a perspective on the business. It finishes with something that I'm sure I've read on the Qlik website around Qlik. ChatGPT seems to have relatively old information. I don't know if all of you know, but it's only up until 2021. I don't think anyone in the Qlik space would consider QlikView the flagship product, as it's mentioned here by ChatGPT. And I know that the language model was trained like 2 or more years ago, but Qlik Cloud should have been part of the response as well. So not that great. The next question was one to ask what company Qlik is acquiring. Bard does this pretty well because it knows more about present day. And I think Bard's got it right. It's the first half of 2023. And I think Qlik is actually going to talk about it in about another week's time, which would be kind of nice. ChatGPT, not so strong. Doesn't know anything past 2021, as I said. And at that time, there were no significant acquisitions. However, the language model is smart enough to go, well, I can't answer anything new, but let me tell you about old stuff. So Attunity, which has become Qlik Data Integration. And I think there was another Podium data as well, which was mentioned in there, which helps us with the catalog information. It was great. It's good that it's smart enough to be able to do that. Qlik often talks about Associative Engine. So I asked both tools what the Associative Engine was, but gives a comprehensive answer that is reasonably accurate. And it once again seems to have read some marketing material to get that. I'm not sure that the hierarchical navigation is how Qlik would describe it. When we go on to ChatGPT, it seems to do a really good job of highlighting the Associative Engine, outlining a little bit about how it works and how it benefits users. So I really do prefer that one. Set analysis is another thing that Qlik is pretty strong in distinguishing itself from other tools. Bard gives some overview of use cases, but it would have been much better to see a code example in here. It would have made it much more complete in my mind. So that's a little bit disappointing. In the ChatGPT sense, once again, a code example would have been a good thing. It's a little bit more in depth, and it talks about QlikView again. And I already talked, I think, about QlikView being part of the product that's probably not the flagship anymore and probably should be de-emphasized from the results that it sees. So that I then went and asked to show me an example. And to be honest, Bard failed quite badly here. It couldn't create an example. The code doesn't look right. You'll see that there's 3 alternatives up the top here, and none of them are accurate. So that was a bit of a fail. It seems like coding is not Bard's strong point at the moment. Whereas set analysis under ChatGPT gives complete and accurate coding, and you can copy that code and drop it straight into a Qlik app. So I really like that and prefer that one in that case. I also asked how to do a loop in Qlik Script, and Qlik gave some examples of loops. That wouldn't have worked directly into Qlik. It seems like it's more of a generic answer than the way we were doing Qlik, which is not great. ChatGPT is a little bit better, and again, you can copy that code straight into a Qlik app. They're very simplistic answers, and I'm sure if I drilled further, they would have gotten better. I asked about QDI, which is Qlik Data Integration, and Bard knows more about current things, and so it answered that question quite comprehensively. It was a decent answer. ChatGPT doesn't know the last couple of years, as I've said too many times in this video already, but it did a really good thing. It didn't really know what QDI was, but it talked about maybe you're asking about Qlik Data Integration, which is really clever large language model results. And it talks about that being part of Qlik Replicate. And before that, I think Attunity it mentioned on the last page, which is where all of that came from. Again, it talks about QlikView and QlikSense, probably not necessary. And I had a couple of other questions, well, one more question, and the question was, what are Qlik extensions? And Bard did a pretty good job of explaining what an extension was. However, ChatGPT was a little bit more rounded. It talked about technically what parts make up the extension. So there's some JavaScript and CSS and so on, and gave some advantages and maybe some risks to do with extensions in a really good way. As always, if you've liked this one, please subscribe and give it a like. That'll really help other people see this one. And because Bard's just new, it'd be really good to get this video out so people can learn a little bit more about Bard. Thanks again. See you on the next one.